The pilot was an instructor with a large commercial approved training organisation. The evening before the accident, he had been contacted at home by the head of training delivery, asking whether he could complete 2 student flying progress checks the next day. On the day of this accident, the pilot left home at about 700 hours and drove to Cranfield Airport, a journey of about 1.5 hours. He was also contacted during this journey by the head of training delivery, asking if he could bring some containers of de-icing fluid to Bournemouth in the aircraft as cargo. The pilot called staff at Cranfield ahead of his arrival to ask them to take some containers of fluid to the aircraft in time for him to load them up prior to his departure. Due to the injuries sustained in the accident, the pilot had little, if any, recollection of further events involving the flight. Other sources of information indicate that on his arrival at Cranfield Airport, he spent time in the company operations room trying to determine, with another instructor, the weight of the containers he was planning to carry. He then went to the aircraft and, with the assistance of a member of the operations staff, loaded 5 25-litre containers of de-icing fluid into it. 1 container was placed upright on the empty front right seat and 1 on each of the 2 rear seats. Another container was placed upright in the rear left seat footwell. The remaining container was placed upright in the front right footwell. The operations staff member assisting with the loading reported that the pilot checked that the flight controls, including the rudder pedals, had full and free movement after loading the containers. The pilot was reported to have boarded the aircraft and the operations staff member returned to the hangar. The staff member did not see the pilot doing a daily check or walk around on the aircraft, which was not visible from the operations room. The technical sheet on which the check should have been recorded has not been found. At 0920, the pilot was given taxi clearance and was asked by ATC whether he would be departing IFR or VFR. The pilot replied he would be departing IFR towards the Compton VOR, climbing to 4,000 feet, and requested a basic service. At 9:25, he was cleared for the takeoff from runway 21. ATC cameras recorded the aircraft commencing its takeoff run and becoming airborne after about 7 seconds. The aircraft's wings were then seen to rock slightly. About 5 seconds after takeoff, the right wing was seen to drop and be recovered, followed immediately by the left wing dropping. The aircraft was by then in a descent from a height of around 100 to 200 feet, and continued in the left turn, hitting the ground to the side of the runway, about 1/3 of the way along its length. The entire flight lasted approximately 12 seconds. An aerodrome fire and rescue vehicle doing a wildlife patrol at the time witnessed the accident and initiated an emergency response before attending the scene. ATC also independently initiated emergency response at 0927, and an additional aerodrome fire and rescue vehicle was in the attendance within 1 minute. Other off-airport emergency service assets arrived at the scene about 25 minutes later. The pilot was extricated from the aircraft and flown by the air ambulance to hospital, having sustained serious injuries. The AAIB investigation found that during the accident flight, the de-icing fluid container placed in an upright position in the front right footwell would have caused a significant restriction in the forward movement of the control stick at takeoff. It is possible that the absence of full and free movement was masked, as contact with the container was probably with the base rather than the top of the control stick. This might have given the impression that the stick had reached its natural full forward position unrestricted by the container. Whilst the speed of the aircraft at rotation was not determined, based on the pilot's comments, it is possible that without adequate control input, the aircraft would have become airborne at a speed below the correct rotation speed. The restricted forward movement of the control stick would have made a corrective nose-down pitch input difficult or impossible. This is consistent with the incipient stall indicated by the wing rocking seen on the ATC video. For more information, please read the AAIB report linked in the description below. Then use the comment section below to discuss this accident. I do want these videos to be used to actively think about how to become a safer pilot. Please subscribe, as this is my first video with more on the way, and finally, do let us know how to improve these videos. Thank you.